Here's what we're going for today. We are going to have a go at the Chocmeister, which is a Wilko's Artisan Brewing kit. It's the second time I've tried this, but it was a really nice kit. All my mates have really enjoyed it that have tried it. And then we're also going to try the Woodforde's Wherry, which is an incredibly popular kit. Comes with 2 cans and has everything in there, so you don't need to have the extra sugar, the extra dextrose or brew enhancer, anything like that in there. It should all be in there, but that's my first attempt at this one, so we'll see how that goes. This is the chemical that we've used to clean all our kit. Put in a couple of teaspoonfuls along with about a gallon or so of hot water. That has now been thrown into the fermentation vessel along with the airlocks and things like that, and we've given that a bit of a stir, a bit of a mix, a bit of a leave there. Should after about 10 minutes be pretty much clean. After we've used that, we'll stick some Star San in, make sure that everything is fully sterilised, and then we're good to go. So we've used the VWP to get the whole thing sterilised and cleaned, but just to finish off, we've got a little spray where we've got some Star San, and we'll just make sure everything in there is properly sterile. We will do the same, getting the lid, make sure that the lid, particularly the bung, is all nicely sterilised. Don't necessarily need to do the top, but I always like to do that bit there. It's not going to do any harm to keep everything clean. Cleanliness is the absolute perfect thing for when you're doing your homebrew. So on opening the can up and getting the lid and everything off of the Chocmeister, we find that we have got a nice little packet of yeast and some instructions. The instructions itself are pretty standard instructions, giving you information about the batch name, or the kit name, the batch number, those kind of things, making sure you've got somewhere to put your gravity readings and everything as well. The instructions are saying that it's probably going to take instructions are saying it's going to take something like about 4 to 6 days for the fermentation to happen. So that's good. It's fairly quick, fairly swift. One thing that I will be changing is instead of going for the 23 litres, I'm going to go for 20 litres. Only reason for that, not so much about strength, it is about the fact that I am going to be using corny kegs. And if I'm going to be using the corny keg, I want to make sure that I get everything in there that I possibly can, rather than having to bottle anything extra. So we'll get that going. I'm going to warm the can up now. Get that all nice and gooey, ready to go. So the Chocmeister, nicely opened, as you can see, it is a lovely and gloopy. So we're going to get that. So there we go, we've got the can all nice and warm. Let's get this in here. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. And then once we've got that all out there, top that up with some boiling water, which we're going to use to tip in anyway. This just makes sure that we get everything from the inside. So put that down, let that just sit there and get rid of all the heat. We'll get that in there. One thing you need to do though is once you've added that boiling water is do not touch that with your bare hands. Make sure you're using a glove or something like that, oven glove. Otherwise, you're going to burn your hands. We've got it all in there now, beautiful and hot. So we just need to think about what else we're going to add in. So this is what I'm going to add in. I'm going to add in the enhancer. This is just going to be instead of adding dextrose and sugar, it just gives an extra little bit to it. So let's get that in. You can see it dissolving itself already. I haven't even started mixing it. So So now we've got that in, we've got our paddle, it's all been star sand and sterilised. Get this mix in, get some aeration in there as well. I mean, you can see a lovely bit of steam coming off there. We'll get this all nicely mixed in. You can feel how thick it is at the bottom where it's been sat. You'll be able to feel it as you get it moving, agitate it. Oh, it smells absolutely amazing. I've seen one or two reviews on the Wilko's website about the fact that they didn't think that this was quite good, but I really enjoyed it. I've been using it, as I said, in corny kegs, and we've got it set up in our shed pub. And while it's in there, it's all fixed up and connected up through the corny kegs to a mixed gas setup. And because of that, you get that kind of creaminess that you normally expect when you go out and buy yourself a pint of Guinness. And it really does make a huge amount of difference. But, you know, that's just my preference. That doesn't mean you have to do it that way. But it's certainly been quite nice for us. We've really enjoyed it. So we'll give that a bit more of a mix. Once the kettle's boiled, we'll add in a bit more boiling water, just to make sure that that is all nicely done. And now we're topping it up with the cold water. Going to bring it up to the 20 litres. As you can see, I'm doing that from a bit of height to try and again get a little bit more aeration in there. Try and get as much air as we can, get it frothing. I mean, you can see that's really doing well. That's going to be brilliant when the yeast is added in. So let's get it carried on. There we are, nicely filled up now with the cold water. That's got us up to the 20 litres. You can see amazing amount of foam there. So we've got it nicely aerated. I'll take a quick gravity reading and we'll make sure that we get that before we add the yeast in. So we've taken the gravity reading, and the gravity reading was coming out at 1042. So we can definitely tell the difference. With it being a 20 litre rather than the 23 litres that they would be expecting you to do. That's coming in according to the instructions at about 1039. So we're a little bit over that because of it, but that's absolutely fine. So we'll get a slightly stronger beer than what I've had before, but we're good. So let's get the yeast in. Everything nicely spread across there. And we'll just let that sit. So we'll get the airlock on, we'll get the top on, and that's the Chocmeister ready to go. There we go, Chocmeister now in. I've put a little bit of Vaseline around about the airlock, and then I've star sand on both sides as well. And then I've put a little bit of star sand into the airlock so that it's fully protected. And now we're just going to leave it. So I'm really hoping that this is going to be something that's going to come out before Christmas, and that way we've got something nice for Christmas and for New Year. And then, as you can see, we've now got the Woodforde's Wherry packaging all nicely opened up. No instructions, all the instructions are on the side here. Unlabelled cans, but we have got 2 packs of our yeast. We'll get all of that nicely warmed up and ready to go. This time, here we go with the Woodforde's. You can see I've put 1 can in already. Let's get the second can in. Oh, thick, gloopy treacle this is. And we'll add in the water just to make sure we get everything nicely topped up and get all of that extract out of there as well if we possibly can. So this has got a very, very different smell. Nowhere near as sweet as the Chocmeister, but still a beautiful smell anyway. So we've got that 3.5, nearly 4 litres of boiling water mixed in with the 2 cans. We don't need anything else. So no sugar, no brewing sugar, no enhancer, nothing like that at all. It's all part of the bundle itself. So let's, now we've got this mixed up nicely, start topping it up with the cold water. I'm going to take this up to the 20 as well, and that should give us something close to about 5% once we actually get to the end point. I think on the packaging it's saying 4.5, but if we're doing the 20 litres we'll probably get a slightly higher gravity when we get that starting point going. Then as we see again, we are going to do it from quite high up when we're adding the water. Get a good bit of aeration in there. It's going to help a lot. Alright, let's get up to the 20 litres. Okay, so here we are with the Woodfordes. We've got Woodforde's Wherry in here. It came with 2 cans, and as you can see I have put the hydrometer in, and I'm just going to leave it in there because that's going to help me with ease. It's sat, you can't see it quite on the bubbles, but we've tested it and it is sat at 1048, so that's going to come out a little bit stronger than the Chocmeister. We've added in the first of the yeast sachets, so here we go with the second. And with it having 2 sets, hopefully that is going to help do things a little bit quicker. So let's get this packed up and get it hidden away. That's 2 brews done. We've got the Chocmeister, which is a Wilko's artisan kit. I've had it before. It is a really nice kit, and it comes out really smooth, really nice. We did it last time around with a 23 litre. I didn't record that, but we did it with a 23 litre last time round. This time around we've done 20, so we'll see how that comes across when it's ready. And then we've also done the Woodforde's Wherry as well, which is one of the ones that on the homebrew forums just seems to get consistently good reviews. Even on the Wilko's website, when you have a look at that, you can see that there's some pretty good reviews on there. I've also got another brew that's sat there at the moment, which is the Summer Ale. This light summer ale. It's the other artisan one that is available at Wilko's at the moment. It's the very cheap one. It's £12 for that, but you then need to add in your hops that you might want to add in as extra, because the hops it comes with is only about 10 grams, so it's quite a small amount. I've added Centennial in there as one of those tea bags, a couple of those. They've been in there for about 5 days. But that has been sat fermenting away for probably close to 2 weeks now. It's going to be pretty close to being ready to get into the kegs. So next time around I am going to try and get the corny keg nice and clean, and then we'll get that summer ale into the barrel as well. Now I did that before back in September, October time. I over-hopped it last time round. I left the hops in whilst I was on holiday and came back. My goodness, did it taste hoppy. It was proper water eyes kind of moment. Both myself and a couple of my mates, we had a couple of drinks from that. Initially, it was wow. Really hoppy, really difficult to drink. However, it had about a week or so to settle after we'd kegged it. It sat in there with some mixed gas, and once that was all in there and done, it actually was really, really nice. So the hoppiness had disappeared a little bit. It came through, still as a nice taste, but the mixed gas that was pushing it through gave it a really good creamy head, good carbonation on it, and quite nice. We went through that pretty quick, so reasonable success. So we've tried to make sure this time around that it doesn't have the same amount of time in the barrel, and I think it's 5 days that's now been in, which is a reasonable amount considering there was 2 of the Centennial hop bags. Hopefully that will do us quite nicely. So As I say, next time around we are going to get the summer ale into the keg. We can show you how to make sure that the keg is cleaned, how to make sure it's washed, how to make sure that it is all sanitized properly, and also that it's nicely secure as well. So signing off, enjoy.